Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Payson. Welcome back for those who are subscribers to the YouTube channel. If you're not already, please subscribe so you can see more great interviews like the one coming at you now. First time guests on the show. Always honored to have new guests on the show. And this one is a long time coming, headed into her fifth MMA fight. Should have had her on before. But this is Faith Nichols. Faith, welcome to the show.
Hey.
I'm excited to have you on the show. You've got a big time fight coming up for 247 Fighting Championships Brawl in the Burgh 19th, which will be December 16th at the Monroeville Convention Center. How'd this fight come together? Why say yes to this fight? And let's get it started on that.
So I was supposed to have a title fight at the beginning of this month, the beginning of this month, against Emily Atkins again. And she ended up pulling out. So soon after that, Jim Mooney hit me up with the contract. My coaches were kind of keeping it a secret. And I was like, yeah, let's do it, because I'm always down to fight. I always want to. And I don't care about records either. Because I know she has a bit more cage experience than I do. So.
Well, that's the fighter's mindset for sure. What have you learned? What have you learned from your 4 MMA fights so far? You have a 2-2 record. I think I've watched 2 of your fights live at various regional promotions. So what has that journey been like? What have you learned from your first 4 fights so far?
I just have to stay mean in there, and really work on controlling like my ranges and everything like that. Right now, as far as like camp goes and like what I've really seen in my past fights.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, particularly from learning from fight to fight, staying focused, staying that competitive spirit, like you said, to stay mean. You have a lot of fan support. I remember at least the 2 fights I saw. I think you had T-shirts. People wearing your T-shirts. People excited to see you. What is it like to have the support of your friends or family, or even just people that like watching you fight?
It's awesome. I always like having that big crowd there. I feel like that helps me when I fight too. Just having all that support and like that family there.
That is great. What gym do you train out of, and are we in it right now? Because it looks like we might be.
Yeah.
What gym are you training out of?
Currently I'm in Ohio training at a demolition fight team. Just because they have more girls here, more people my size, so it helps out, and we are actually currently in it. I was gonna get a quick workout in before I headed to work today, so.
Fantastic. Well, I won't keep you on long. You were kind to fit us in. Demolition Fight Team is where you're currently cross-training to get more experience with female fighters. But what's your hometown gym, and what led you to training with them back when you started?
High Ground Jiu-Jitsu is where I would call my home gym, back in Pittsburgh. And it really started because I was with Uniontown back in the day, and Tommy just kind of welcomed me into the gym after everything went down a while ago, and I loved it up there. I stuck with it even though it was a long drive for me because I'm like an hour outside of Pittsburgh, so
Wow.
yeah,
Gotcha. And that is a tough part, particularly being an amateur fighter, balancing life and commuting to or getting to training. So I'm glad you're not only have had a lot of experience training out of High Ground Jiu-Jitsu, but also demolition and whatever other. I know as far as ladies go, doesn't the Mat Factory, of course, that's also in Pittsburgh, but doesn't the Mat Factory have like a women's Sunday where there's like 15 ladies that train together? Have you ever made it to that?
I do, but when I was up in PA, I would try to make it up there as much as I could. That was an even longer drive for me, so I had to kind of pick and choose what day I could make it up there.
Sure.
And
So is demolition now, Faith, is demolition more your like your main gym now, that like location wise?
yes.
Okay. Awesome. How long have you been training primarily, making the change and primarily training out of demolition?
I think I moved down here October 8th of this year,
Oh,
so
fantastic. That is
not
great.
too
So this will
super
be,
long.
will this be your first fight, after training primarily at demolition?
Yeah.
Awesome. And speaking of that fight, you already mentioned that you don't concern yourself with the experience or kind of record of your opponent, which I think is a great mindset to have because you got to take the fights you can get to be able to fight. What are you expecting from yourself? Not details about what you're planning to do, but what do you expect from yourself every time you get in there, and particularly making your debut for 247?
Just to get in there and stay focused. Just try to be better than I was in my last fight, better than I was in the last training session before that. Um,
That makes a lot of sense, making that progression, constantly pushing yourself, because even though you're fighting a person, you're also really testing yourself and your skill set. So great attitude, great mindset to have. We've mentioned some of the fact that you have big fan group, you have supporters that are excited to watch you fight. Always makes it more exciting when there's people in the crowd that are going nuts when you're walking down. But in addition to the supporters getting tickets and buying your t-shirts to support you, do you have sponsors? If so, what sponsors would you like to thank headed into this fight?
the Coffin Bean Mobile, she's a women's independently run coffee company. She's actually out of Apollo, PA, so she's fairly close. My hometown guys, if you want a great cup of coffee, go visit her. The Silverback Stripe Jiu-Jitsu apparel company, Prompt Quality Painting, Sierra Schwartz Chiropractic, and I think that's about it right now, other than my home gym back home, High Ground Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, that's a great list of sponsors. Always wonderful to see local businesses and people be able to support you, because that makes a big difference in your training and what you're working on. It's been awesome having you on the show. I know you're going to get a workout in at demolition like we've been talking about. You're then going to head to work. So thanks for fitting us in. It's been an honor to have you on the show. I can't wait to be cage side and be able to call the action of the fight for Brawl in the Burgh, 19 December 16th. Great time to get tickets. People hit up Faith to get tickets from her directly. It really helps her out. Makes a big difference. And for some reason, if somebody's going to be doing the pay-per-view, not able to get tickets and be in person, then make sure you select Faith at checkout, so that way she gets credit. There, can't wait to see you. It's going to be an incredible card, the whole card, you included. It's going to be awesome. You're one of 3 female fights on the card, which I think that's always exciting. Sometimes there's events where it just doesn't work out. I know the legendary Jim Mooney, you mentioned him, the matchmaker, really tries to emphasize getting female fighters matched on the card, because it makes a big difference to their career. And it's also something 247 really wants to support. So thanks so much for coming on the show. You've been listening to Luke Payson for MMA Fancast with first-time guest of the show. First of, I hope, many to follow, Faith Nichols. Thanks so much. Best skills to you, December 16th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.